realistically, in my opinion, over 20 variables that should be negotiated in the contract.
This basically is creating the environment for those players and the teams to be able to compete in this competition.
What's your experience of working with an agent like?
Hey, they just steal the money. Maybe I like.
Very nice. Hello everybody, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. My name is Stan, I'm CEO of Fabryka Esportu, and with me today I have Leo, our Valorant agent.
Hello everyone.
You may be wondering what's Fabryka Esportu, who we are. So very quickly I will explain. We are an esports agency, we work with players. We started this agency like 3.5 years ago. Basically, I used to be a player. I used to work as a lawyer. After my career, I went to law school. I started working for the Fabryka Futbolu, a football agency, and here we are trying to do the same stuff but in esports. So, why are we doing this podcast, right? Like, people may be wondering who is going to watch just some esports guys talking about the industry. Well, we want to share a bit of our knowledge. We see that there is a lack of understanding of basic rules and mechanisms of our industry. People don't really understand what is an organization, what does an agent do, what is an esports contract. Sorry to say it, but realistically, some of the agents working in this industry don't really understand those mechanisms. So what we want to do is share a bit of our knowledge, shine a bit of light on all everything that is happening behind the scenes, to explain to our viewers what is going to what can happen when it comes to the professional player career, and share our knowledge with that. So each week we are going to be talking about the topics regarding the esports industry, from the ecosystem through contracts to transfer details and stuff like this. And we'll be bringing on our guests, which will be our players. This week we are starting with the first player we ever signed, who is Grubinhoo, who just played his first year in VCT for Koi, but that's going to be happening a bit later in the podcast. So don't you dare skipping to it. This is some good stuff, and I think you will learn something interesting from today. So Leo, why don't you start by talking to us about the esports ecosystem? Like, how does it work? How is it different from traditional sports?
The esports ecosystem in esports is different from traditional sports. It's because it's mainly controlled by the game publisher, and every publisher has his own way of doing things.
Exactly. So, like, when you look, for example, at the biggest esports games, such as League of Legends, Valorant, CSGO, like, they all have a slightly different ecosystem. League of Legends and Valorant, being controlled by Riot Games, they worked based on a closed ecosystem. So, basically, Riot created the whole schedule. They created Tier 1, the biggest LEC, VCT, the franchise leagues. Then they created, like, an ecosystem for the Tier 2, and they give the leagues that they control to different operators to produce. When it comes to Counter-Strike, for example, the system is open. So there is obviously a licensing procedure to get a license to operate a tournament in the Valve ecosystem. But if you basically meet the certain criteria, you can just create a tournament for yourself. And you don't have to work around the different schedule and stuff like this. You can put it whenever you want, and it's on you to make sure that teams want to participate in your tournament. So the duality of this ecosystem, open versus closed, is also shown in league versus tournament system. When it comes to Riot operated ecosystem, it's mostly leagues that then, so regional leagues, European League, American League, Asian leagues, and then they lead to the international tournaments. When it comes to Counter-Strike, on the other hand, when you look at the major cycles or the Blast events or ESL events, like in Katowice, for example, there are mostly tournaments. There are leagues that are happening, but CS operates mostly on a tournament-based system. So now, the biggest thing that is happening and the biggest change in the ecosystem is that Esports World Cup came in, and basically the Saudi government decided that they are going to put up many games, including the Riot Games titles. So now, on top of having the leagues that are happening in the ecosystem, of Riot ecosystem, we will also have tournaments that are outside of their purview. Technically, this year League of Legends was just another MSI that was taking place in Esports World Cup, but maybe next year is going to expand. Apparently, there are some rumors about Valorant appearing in Esports World Cup, so this is constantly changing and evolving. So that's how the ecosystem works. What about organizations? Like, what are they? What do they actually do? Leo.
Esports organization is a company that support and manage those professional players and teams by providing them many things. For example, financial support. They provide them gears, equipment. They provide them training facilities, the coaching staff, all of those things. So also logistics, they provide them like traveling logistics and all of these things so they can or be able to travel and compete in those events and compete in this top level. It's basically is creating the environment for those players and the teams to be able to compete in this like competition that it's made by the game publishers.
And the developers create the leagues. The organizations participate in those leagues. What is the agency doing? Like, is it the same as organization because they support the players? You guys support the players. Is it the same? Well, although some organizations work as an agencies, for example, there was a famous Face and Tfue drama where basically it turned out that esports organizations tend to work as the talent agencies for the streamers that they work with. But putting that aside, the biggest difference between the organization and the agency is the matter of alignment of interest. Because when it comes to esports organizations, same as in the football clubs, the esports organization wants to get the best players possible and spend the least money possible. It's normal. They have a set budget. They want to get the best performance out of this budget. So this is the esports organization. On the agency side, agency works with a player and strictly with this one player on the long-term basis. They make commission of the money that the player makes. So basically, the better the player does, the better the agency does. So that's the biggest difference when it comes to the difference between organizations and the agencies is the interest. And we saw a lot of situations where like teams tried to be the agent for the player at the same time as being a team. And then like imagine a situation where the team is negotiating a transfer and they have two variables to negotiate. The buyout amount and the new salary for the player. And it's all coming from the same budget. Like, what do you think the organization is going to negotiate to be higher, the salary for the player or the buyout? It's a simple concept to understand, but sometimes it's still like not fully appreciated. And the conflicts of interest are a big topic. Like, it's really hard because it's really not regulated. Because going back to the topic of ecosystem, like we don't really have a legal framework for esports. Esports is regulated by the local laws in all the countries that it's in, and this causes it to be really fragmented. Like one country says one thing, one country says another thing. Some of it is based on EU law, and there is no, for example, court of arbitration for esports as it is in football or any other sports. And the reason for this is simple. Like again, developers hold all the power, and until they empower an entity to govern it, to actually enforce the rule sets, to be the arbitration court. Until then, like it's basically Wild West. And there are some cool movements when it comes to stuff like this. Like players associations start to do like a list of recommended vendors. I know that there was ISIC for a second, like Esports Integrity Commission. But realistically, as long as the power is in the hand of developers, I don't really see anything like this improving. I actually understand like who is in charge, responsible for what, who is supposed to be taking care of what, and whose interest is at play at a specific time. So to put it all together, let me just tell you what exactly do agents do, right? Because it is a bit of like a taboo question. Like nobody really understands what the agent does, and it's very simple. Like we handle everything that is outside of the server. Like the player still has to play. We will not play instead of him. Like we will not necessarily make him a better player like based on his mechanics. But what we are supposed to do is take away all the stress away from the player. We are supposed to find as much opportunities for him, find as much trial offers for him, make sure that his contract is well put together, that the terms are good, to negotiate all those things. Not only the salary, but what is the bench clause saying? What is the early termination clause saying? What is his individual sponsorship agreement? Like, can he have individual sponsorships? Most contracts that are negotiated in esports, like most agents even, sadly, they negotiate like the salary, the duration, and maybe like some bonuses, right? But realistically, there are, in my opinion, over 20 variables that should be negotiated in the contract and are often neglected, which result in players being mistreated in various ways. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen situations where we like had players in a team, and there were other players from different agencies, and like our players were treated well. They got paid. They got paid severance for termination, and the other players were just told, okay, bye, no severance, no nothing. It's a combination of laziness and incompetence. Sadly, agent is supposed to handle everything, not just to come in to negotiate the salary and stuff like this. So that's the biggest takeaway I want everybody to take from this podcast. Like, this is not. Again, in my opinion, I'm biased. I'm an agent, but from in our perspective, like agencies are actually useful. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this business, of course. But that's our take. And speaking of the agencies being helpful and necessary, like right now, we will speak to Grubinho. And Grubinho is the first player we signed in this agency ever. We worked with him for 3.5 years, and I would like to say we put a little bit of, we put like an extra 1% of his career. Obviously, we are not saying that we made his career. The guy worked hard and he deserves everything that came to him. We are proud to say that we helped him along the way. And without the further introductions, let us talk to Grubinho. Gruby, pleasure to have you with us. We'll start off with a bit of a curveball. I would like to ask you to do a quick tier list for our audience. Leo, you can explain the rules because there are some rules to this tier list.
Yeah. So as you can see in the tier list, we have 10 teams, 5 like categories: S, A, B, C, and D. And the rule is you have to have one team in each category. And each category doesn't have more than 3 teams. So you have to have one team in each category, and the maximum teams in one category is 3.
Okay, okay. I will start with the last tier because I need to have in each tier one team.
Yeah.
And I will put X Falcons.
Okay.
Is
No
there
love
is
for the
something
Menacing.
behind? Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know, like just like this. I know they won and they played pretty decent, but I think it's not gonna be the level uh, of Ascension. So in S tier, I will start 3 teams. I want to put if I want to put 3 teams.
It's maximum that you have 3,
Yeah,
but you don't have to put 3.
yeah, I know, but I'm thinking if there is space for 3. Oof. But I will start with mouse for sure in S tier.
Okay.
Mm, and I will put job life, mouse and job life in S tier. I
Okay.
think
We are aligned
this.
on that. Okay.
I will do it like this. Um, I think nothing more. I don't think Apex is gonna be that good. Uh, because like they had like we'll see of course, but I don't think they are that good like mouse or job life. So I will put them in A tier.
Okay.
With CG and also oh it's getting hard. No, it's getting hard. Okay, okay. So I have one more there in A tier. And I have two good teams that I want to put there. That's hard. Okay, I will put Desire. Or
Desire
actually,
8 tier. Okay.
I think in Desire or Gonex, if I could put four teams, I would do them both.
Okay.
But I don't know, like
The rules are the
actually,
rules. Do you want
Yeah.
yeah,
to do you want to demote one of the teams from A tier to B tier, or maybe promote them to S tier?
no, I think like I will put Desire in B tier and Gonex in A tier.
Okay.
I think like this. Like I cannot do it different, but okay, let's do it like this.
So we have three teams left: Saw,
Yeah,
Barca, and Pacific.
Pacific, yeah. I think I will put So in C tier. I didn't see them much also, so I don't know, but I will put them in C tier. And Barcelona and Pacific in B tier. And this is my tier list.
Okay. This is pretty
So
balanced.
Yeah.
in D we have X Falcons, C So, B tier Desire, Barcelona, Pacific, A tier Apex, CG and GoNext, and S tier Job Life and Mouse.
And between the Job Life and Mouse, who do you think is the favorite?
Mm, I think Job Life.
Okay, the French league going strong. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. Let's see if they get another team in VCT. That would be four of them.
Yeah.
So some would say too much, some would say too little. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. So now that we are done with the tier list, we can go to the next part. Obviously, we have some questions for you. So the first question is like, Group 8 was your first year in VCT. I think your stats show that you played really well. But what was the experience from your POV? Like, how did you feel in your first year in VCT?
When I was joining COI, like I was expecting it's gonna be harder because it's like much different experience than other years when you're playing only few games on LAN and the rest you playing from your home or from bootcamp. And I was expecting it's gonna be hard, but to be fair, like it wasn't like that hard for me. Of course, first game, first time on the stage, it was like difficult time. But after this, I was enjoying every game we played on the stage. Most difficult thing, maybe even for every player, it's not even going on the stage, but the thing that you're living in other country, far away from the friends, from family. So this was like the hardest thing for me. And this is the one thing that I don't like it that much, but playing on a stage, it's already fine for me after split one. Like I think it wasn't the best, but I was also as a rookie. And the split two, I played like I think I played good. There is always space to play better, to be a better person, be a better player. But I think the split two was kinda nice season for me,
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
was enjoying every game.
Yes.
Even like the games that we, I don't know, it was after Gentlemans, I think. We already knew we kinda out. I was still enjoying the games, and I was trying to do my best.
Okay, that's good. I mean, it's clearly a matter of also getting an experience, right? Playing on stage in front of the crowd is different. Like, it's different than some B Champions lands in Poland or finals of the VRL. So that's for sure. And going back a bit in your career, because we wanted to ask about the historical aspect of it as well. We had the privilege of working with you for the past 3.5 years. But like looking at your first teams like Luminar Gaming and before that Shakalaka, like when do you think was the first moment that you were like, all right, like I'm going to be professional at this. Like I'm good at it. I'm going to earn my living from it. I'm going to make a career of it. Like, can you pinpoint a specific moment in time?
Hmm. It's for me. It's actually hard to say when.
Was it
Like,
was it when you signed with our agency?
uh, maybe this is also like the thing that I started thinking, oh, maybe I can do it. It's really hard to say.
Was it when you joined
Uh,
Heretics, maybe?
no, I think like it was something before, because I remember when Valorant was coming out, there was like faceit hubs for players. Like
The early days. Yeah.
yeah, people were playing together, like playing tournaments and stuff like this. And I think like when we started with the first team and started winning something, because I remember first thing we won, it's actually kind of funny. It was like a PC case, PC cooler, something like this.
The German tournament, right? Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
And I remember I just sold some things that we won, and I bought my first PC like
From your winnings.
from my winnings, from my money, not from like money that parents gave me or something. It also wasn't only the money from earnings, because it was also like I earned something in school, and because there was like some stuff from school that you could go to work and stuff like this. But it was like I think the time that I started thinking, oh, I want something. We'll see how it's gonna go. Maybe in the future I can like do it for a living. And I think this was the time.
It just sort of happened, yeah?
Yeah, I think like maybe a bit lucky
You
me.
like the taste of winning, you like the taste of winning something and having your own money from something you did. That obviously played a part in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe my whole career is a bit lucky. I don't
Ah,
know.
that's good. That's good. A bit of luck is always welcome. And
Yeah.
what was your family reaction to hearing about you becoming a professional, like going to boot camps, like paying maybe less attention to school? Like how what was their reaction initially and how it transformed over time?
I don't like. I'm not like talking much with my parents about the stuff and how is the game working and stuff like this. Sometimes they asking some questions. I don't like to talk about it. Like it's just hard
They're
for me to
also from
talk.
like a different generation, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that, it's hard to explain some things. I remember when I was starting. I remember Houston helped me with the school. It was like a fourth grade
Yeah.
when I was kinda like studying like different than other kids, like other
Yeah, your
friends. Like
individual learning program.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they were confused a bit because it's for them it was something how you can sit in front of PC and getting money and stuff like this, stuff like this. But the one thing that like they were happy about it, they wanted me to like end the school. And I also wanted to do it because it's kind of safer way. Like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe if I would quit school, maybe I would be somewhere else now. But like this stuff, I don't think you can do it for your whole life, you know. So like it's nice to have something kind of plan B.
Yeah.
I say.
And the school is definitely important, and from our perspective, we were always pushing for you to finish the school as well. So I'm happy that you made it work. And like, tell me when it comes to your experience, because basically throughout your whole career, you were working with us. What's your experience of working with an agent like? Because this is a sort of a debate right now going in a scene, right? Is it worth it to work with an agent? Is it not? Would you say, from your experience, like why should people, why should players work with an agents? Like what does agent actually do? Do they just steal the money? Like what's an agent actually do?
Okay, we're gonna cut it, but I will say they just steal the money. When we were starting with Fabryka, I wasn't like thinking that far. There wasn't also that much, I think, money yet in Valorant, so there was less work for you. But when orgs started coming in, orgs like with contracts and stuff like this, I saw why you need the agent in overall, not only in Valorant. I think in every game, if you don't have maybe like a parents that can do it for you or someone that can do it for you, I think players should get the agent so they not getting scammed. and they are not getting into jail contracts. And I was joining Koi and moving to Berlin. You also helped me like with the insurance and stuff like this. And also back in the day, like when I was learning, me also to do everything like with the school, make it finance and stuff like this. So I think players maybe they gonna say, oh, it's too much, 10%. Okay, like if you are maybe know the contract stuff and you can do it yourself, you can try it. But if you have no clue about this stuff, I think you should get an agent. So like the thing's gonna be much easier. And for me,
Yeah.
like with every org, I had like a contract. There wasn't any problems for me. So I'm happy like the with the work Fabryka doing for me.
Awesome. We are happy to have you, man. All right. So on that topic, it comes to like your advice, right? Because obviously there are maybe like young players watching this and they are thinking like, how can I improve? So aside from getting an agent, obviously, like, what would you recommend to young players? How can they develop and be better as players?
My first advice would be if you are not strong mentally, I think you should try to find your plan B. So for example, ending the school. Because like for me, for example, like of course everyone is different, but for me, it would be hard to have like this thought in my mind that okay, if I'm stop playing, like what am I gonna do? Can of course I'm not saying that without school you cannot do different stuff, but I think with school it's just easier to
It gives you some security, right? So
yeah yeah
you know that even if this doesn't work out, you will not be like in trouble.
yeah. The thing that helped me, for example, is also like a self-talk. Of course, like there should be space for some criticism from yourself, but there shouldn't be only space for this. That every day, okay, I did this bad, I doing this bad, I doing this bad, and only talking bad in your mind, because I think this stuff kinda destroying you as a player. Like if you're not gonna stop with bad thoughts, it's just gonna be harder for you to play. I can say it on my experience that when I don't have these thoughts, I feeling just better on the server. So this is also like the thing that young players shouldn't do. I met a lot of players already that had problems with this stuff, and when they swapped, like when they changed the self-talk, like it was better for them. Like they were performing better. So
Yeah.
this is the thing. Also, we as a players, we should try to touch a bit of sport just to feel better, just to not be like in the future in the 30s to not be able to walk or something. Like of course it's not gonna be like this, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
When you're
definitely.
sitting for like 20 years and not doing anything else, you cannot expect in the future that you're gonna be sportsman or something. So I think we should, as a player, touch a bit of sport.
It's like helps your mental, right? You feel better when you're playing and you know that your body is healthy, like you're more energetic, you have more energy to play more, like that definitely helps, right?
Yeah, for me, for example, yeah, I agree with the thing that is helping, but I think we shouldn't be like players that we only have game in the life. You know what I mean? We should try to find other hobbies and don't waste this time also, because I think not everyone gonna like it, what I gonna say, but I think we are kind of blessed with the stuff we're doing.
It's definitely
Like,
a privilege to be an
yeah.
esports player, that's for sure.
And I think we shouldn't close ourselves to only, oh, I gonna play video games for my whole life and stuff like this. And I know we other players, we had like a more free time than other people, you know. Also, we are not, for example, physically exhausted and stuff like this because we're doing the thing that we like. So I think we should try to find out also new hobbies and stuff like this. Why? Because, for example, the game is not going as you would like. You playing wars, your team playing wars. Even maybe something happened in your life. Like with this stuff, let's say with the gym, or you like to go to the swimming pool, or whatever. You have some different hobbies. You can do something and forget about everything.
Take the stress out a little bit.
Yeah. Have
So
that space for yourself, basically.
We know
I
that you
don't know
like to
if
go to the gym, so that's good. You can maybe show us a
maybe,
bit of biceps.
maybe I like,
Ah, very
maybe
nice,
I
very nice.
ah, maybe I don't like. Like sport is nice. I was also playing when I was younger a bit football. I wasn't like insane, but I like it. So that's why I still kinda into the sport and the stuff and this stuff. But if you like, for example, you never do any sport, like just try to find the thing you like. You can even walk like in the evenings, in the morning, whatever. But just do something. Don't only sit because it's not healthy
Yeah.
and it's not normal, I
Well
think.
said. Well said, Gruby.
Mm.
And I personally couldn't be more proud from the development you've done on yourself throughout the years. So, I think it's a big privilege for me to be able to watch this. So, to wrap it up, from our end, we wish you best of luck in the off season. We have a bit of insight on what's happening, and regardless of what happens, I'm sure the next year will be even better for you. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next year's champions, bro.
Vamos, vamos. I
Alright.
hope, I hope. Like, okay, I don't hope, I know. I never say I hope because we shouldn't hoping. Maybe in some stuff we should hope, but not in this stuff.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah.
Fuck yeah. Thank you for taking your time, and yeah, to all of our viewers, thank you for watching this episode of our podcast, and yeah, we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Vamos, I
Yeah.
share peace with you.
Bye bye.